Tōna koutou and welcome to Frogs on Friday, where we keep you up to date with the world of work in Aotearoa. Today, I'm joined by our sourcing specialist, Julia Yen, and we're looking at diversity and inclusion in the workplace. We'll run through some of our latest hot jobs as usual, and you can share your views through our social media polls. So let's go through to mahimedia. Okay, so before I get started on this, I did just want to note that the minimum wage increases today. So that goes from $20 per hour to $21.20. So that's great news for workers who may be really struggling to get by at the moment, especially with rising living costs. But today, as we talk about diversity and inclusion in the workplace, I thought I would focus on the effects for people living with a disability. And I came across this article showing the increased impact to this group while living and working through COVID. And I thought I'd look through, and some of the stats are quite shocking. So, and it is something that affects quite a large proportion of New Zealand. So 1 in 4 New Zealanders over the age of 15 have a disability. And the unemployment rate for people with a disability is nearly twice that of non-disabled people, although there is some good news, and this has been trending down over the past 3 years or so, so hopefully that continues. Disabled people earn less on average than non-disabled people, and we spoke last week around job seekers being more proactive in what they're looking for in an employer, and particularly around addressing things like gender pay gap. This is bad again in this sector. So disabled women have a pay gap of 19% when compared to all men. So in the article, one of the key factors was that the IHC Director of Advocacy mentioned was that 75% of unemployed disabled people actually want to work but can't secure jobs. So it's really interesting for me that in a market where talent shortage is the biggest challenge facing businesses, we have to do a better job of connecting and becoming disability confident to employ more disabled people, and that's Frog included. So really open to any suggestions on how we can improve. So let's go through to our jobs section, and maybe there can be some opportunities right in front of us. Okay, so the first position is a customer service coordinator. This is a temp role based in Albany. And again, we've seen quite a few of these options where there's a possibility for a permanent position. So it's a temporary role, likely to be for at least 2 months, but it gives you that chance to try before you buy. And perhaps put your hand up for the permanent role. Again, we've had a lot of roles working within the healthcare sector recently, and this is another one of those. If you're interested, get in touch with Shavneil. Okay. One for our Wellington team, so a senior advisor working within Crown Entity Monitoring. So this one, the ministry or the particular government agency that it's working with has a really good reputation for their good culture and not being too structured or having a hierarchy within. So it sounds like a great place to work and to really make a difference. And the last one there. Another one from Wellington, so a principal advisor working within investment management. So again, this is with a government agency based in Wellington, and particularly they're looking for people who do have that experience working in the investment management space or better business case analysis. For this one, the best contact is Alzari. So some good options there to look at. And as always, feel free to go to our website, frogrecruitment.co.nz, to see all the available vacancies across New Zealand. And I think we have a video of one of our featured roles for this week.
Hello, it's Peter here from Frog Recruitment in Wellington. We're looking for a senior advisor who's got strong legislative experience to help some legislation through Parliament. It's in a major government agency. It's a long-term fixed-term role, and the person needs to have senior experience, able to coach, mentor staff, good relationship management, stakeholder experience, able to work with ambiguous environment at times. The manager's great, team's really nice. If you're interested in doing something meaningful and want to hear, we'd love to hear from you. My contact details are below. Thank you.
Okay, so some great opportunities here, but now I'm thrilled to be joined by Julia Yen, who's one of our star sourcing specialists within the team here in Auckland. And Julia's going to talk to us a little bit more about how to promote diversity and inclusion in the workplace.
Yeah. Hi, Shannon. Thank you very much. I guess leading on from what Shannon has mentioned about diversity and inclusion, a recent Frog Recruitment poll has found that 70% of job seekers rated diversity, inclusion, and company culture as essential values to them. Diversity in the workplace is necessary when you want to create a thriving business, especially when it comes to employee engagement, encouraging creativity and innovation. As a result, companies are introducing more strategies to promote and encourage diversity and inclusion in their workplace to keep up with the shift in power dynamics. We also have to understand that everyone is driven differently. Connect with your employees and ask what motivates them. Make an effort to inquire about their personal needs and work preferences. Means your employees will feel heard and understood. Learning and understanding what drives and motivates them can further encourage employees to see what success looks like in their roles. Knowing what works, you can engage more with your team and determine the best communication, engagement, and working methods. A common area that has been addressed is to encourage feedback, and I think employees should feel comfortable coming to their managers with concerns. This can be around their treatment in their company or around gender, ethnicity, sexuality, age, or gender, or other factors. An open door and communication policy will encourage your team to speak up or provide constructive feedback. Strong company culture and good workplace relationships are founded on open and honest conversations. This leads to a more inclusive and happier workplace. Last but not least, let's talk a bit about working flexibility. Flexibility is a measure of how we deal with the unexpected. It's not just about the employee engagement, it's about accommodating everyone's different lifestyles. One size does not fit all. The value that flexibility practices brings to employees should not be underestimated. Work is such a big part of everyone's life, but it's always a balance with home life, hence the work-life balance. Find the right fit for each individual, communicate your expectations, as flexibility cuts both ways. So to sum it up, I definitely think these three key points are, should be included in diversity and inclusion in your workplace.
Excellent. Well, some great tips there for employers. Thank you for that, Julia. Now, of course, your role as a sourcing specialist, you're speaking with candidates every day, discussing what's important to them. Have you noticed a shift in the last couple of years or so in candidates being more open or direct about what they're looking for in an employer and being able to say that these factors are important to them?
Yes, no, definitely. Especially when it comes to we us being the first point of contact before we, submit our candidates to our clients, is they do push back a lot more now, and a lot of the question has revolved around that. Is there some work-life balance? What is the company culture like? What do I expect in the first, say, couple of months? What is onboarding? Just because in their current role, they need to find, good bullet points, good reasons of why they want to leave their current role, and they don't want to shift into another role where, it's completely, a downhill from what they already have. So that level of security, understanding everything beforehand is very important. And this is why, I do what I do, and this is why Frog Recruitment is here to support our candidates along the journey.
Absolutely. Thank you, Julia. And I can see in the comments there that Mark Smith, so a group director from the People to People group, has noticed your lucky cat in the background, or is it a lucky cat?
I'm just gonna grab it. It's my little, I said, lucky dog, lucky cat. It's still, it's gold, it's lucky, but yeah.
We're all about the more lucky charms we can bring around ourselves, the better. So anything that works.
Good
thanks,
vibes.
Julia.
No worries.
Let's take a look at the polls from last week. Okay, so with we talked about rising living costs, and petrol is definitely a big factor in that. So we asked, has the increase in petrol prices lately affected your likelihood to work from home? And the reason that we brought this up, we had quite a few instances with our candidates where candidates were actually either withdrawing from a role if they've got lots of options at the moment, if it was something that they had to drive to or the distance was longer. They were saying, no, actually, it's not worth it in this climate and with the prices, so I'm going to opt for something closer to home. So we have been seeing that. The results from the poll are quite evenly spread. So we had, yes, actually, the petrol prices have meant that I'm working from home more for 40% of you, but there was still no difference. So 32% said, no, I'm still commuting. It hasn't made a difference. So interesting to see there. What do we have this week, Jacob? Okay, so we're looking at, do you job seek even when you're happily employed? So is it something that you're paying attention to the little pop-ups that come up on the side of your screen, or having a little browse on Seek, even if you're quite happy where you are? Particularly, each week I'm talking about how there's more and more options for job seekers at the moment because of the talent shortage. So let's wait and to see if people are open to having a look, or if they're happy where they are, they keep their eyes on where they are. Okay, so that is it for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you here same time, same place next week. Kia ora.